Before there was Be a Beacon, before there was Back to the Future, before there was Star Wars, before there was the Red Pill and the Matrix, there were the free market medical warriors, I believe the first year. And we look at the members and we look at the activities of all of the members. And it's safe to say this award now takes up a much smaller percentage of the membership than it did in our beginning days. So as we've grown, it's become actually more difficult. But the recipients today, we're very, very excited to announce. Before we do, if you are a previous recipient of the Beacon Award, or you are a free market medical warrior back in like original gangster Beacon Award, please stand up. And make your way up here. We are going to all be on the stage to present this year's awards. So previous award winners, make your way up here.
Surprise.
The first one?
Yeah, please.
So I'll introduce the first one. This person is not someone who gets awards, not someone who would think that he's going to get an award today. Someone who's a mentor to me, a huge supporter of this organization, and truly the finest physician I've ever known. Give a warm welcome to the legend, Dr. Norman Imes.
Well, I don't get a lot of honors in my life, I don't think. Maybe over the years I've accumulated a few, but this is probably the biggest surprise I've ever had. I have such great respect for these two gentlemen, Jake Hampton and Keith Smith. Keith Smith and I go back a long ways. He was one of my residents at one time on the service on pulmonary critical care medicine. Great resident, great doctor. Really got to like him a lot. So we've had a good relationship over the years. I've watched this organization grow. It's just been absolutely phenomenal. Of course, it's right along my lines. I've always been a free market person. I have always fought the hospitals, the hospital systems. My former wife, who is deceased, was a member of the board at Integris. So I got an inside view of how it operates. She did what she could as a physician. But this is a long, hard fight, and this organization has really stepped forward across the country. Wherever you go in the country now, you hear people who know about this organization, and they really appreciate what has been done here in Oklahoma City. So again, thank you very much for the honor. I appreciate it very much.
I've come to respect Dr. Imes tremendously as well, and he's actually my doctor, so he's very, very deserving. I'm trying to think who the next one is. Thank you. Okay, so we have two more. So this is an individual that has been part of the FMMA since the very, very first day. This is a person that really works tirelessly for this movement. Not so much on the front lines, but provides expert counsel on how to be disruptive and do it right. This is a person that is truly fearless, And I don't know when this person sleeps, because they are always available on weekends or whenever, for her clients. And she's built an exceptional staff and an exceptional operation that is geared towards supporting this new free market industry. So the 2024 Beacon Award also goes to Cori Zavada.
Wow, that was unexpected. I'm going to get teary-eyed. I have been an ERISA attorney for 22 years, I think, and I have seen the good and the bad and the ugly. And this here is the good. And that there is the good. They have done amazing things in the interest of self-funding and advocacy for what is right, to correct all that is wrong in healthcare and insurance in this industry. And I have been a part of that in the background, cheering them on along the way. And I'm just so honored to be recognized by you guys. And I love you, and I love all that FMMA stands for, and the great folks that are in this room doing great work. Thank you.
One more. So this is an individual that has also been part of the FMMA since day one. Probably not so much in the background. It's not in their personality. But it is definitely somebody that has been a leader in the industry of self-insurance, and then probably the recent decade also a leader in positive disruption, whether it be consumer-driven plans, innovative plan design, also again changing the world, as I said in my opening remarks, in a legal fashion. This gentleman has been part of multiple organizations that support the employer right to self-insure their health plans. But again, this is a person that could have easily sold out and become part of the problem, because that's where the real money is. But instead, he took his career and his firm in a positive direction, and I count him as a friend. 2024 Beacon Award recipient, the final one, is Mr. Adam Russo.
You know, I think I cry more than Cori does. I thought I was going to be on a panel. Like, you have to be there. I'm like, all right. So I was like preparing like a presentation for a panel. But so I definitely did not expect this. Just two things I want to say. First, about Jay personally, before I bring up FMMA. But, you know, I was a 26-year-old kid. I just had an idea to start a company. And I never forget when I hired like a software guy to like build my first system that would have transparent, you know, claims on it. They go, how many people could you possibly see using your software? And I'm like, I never forget it. I go, 20. And I thought that was like really far-fetched, because he told me to be far-fetched in my idea. But what I know is, you know, I was a 26-year-old kid. I was like 29. I first met Jay. And I got this, you know, a much thicker accent than I do now. I'm a kid from Boston, and I'm in Oklahoma for the first time. and I'm trying to tell this guy why he should give me a chance. And that was 20 years ago, and it means a lot that you did that for me. So when they came up with this idea, and they contacted me about speaking at the first one, I jumped. And it wasn't, I don't know how many people were there. There was less than like 50. I don't know. 100? Oh, did it look like 100? I do the same thing. I like to inflate the numbers, right? The beginning. But here's the thing you have to remember about these guys. And I told this to Jay earlier today. Folks, it's not easy. It's easy to come up with an idea. It's easy to tell your friends that got this idea in your head, right? My best friend gives me ideas every day. Never acts on any of them. But to actually put on a conference, not knowing who's going to show up, and it's a conference with a lot of conferences in our industry that was very different, right? Free market, in an age where, like he mentioned, everyone's selling out to the big brother. Everyone's still, that big engine's still chugging. And what we're doing here is truly a movement that has grown to numbers that I tell you right now, I guarantee you he didn't think this was going to happen this quickly in the first 10 years. Neither one of them did. So thank you for the opportunity, and I'm very humbled to be here, and God bless. Thank you.
All right, so I think that concludes the Beacon Awards for 2024. You will notice that we do have two ERISA attorneys featured. That's not an accident. Not only are they extremely deserving, but I also, something that Dr. Smith and I have talked about quite a bit recently is I think that we are, actually I had a great conversation with Dr. Kyle Rickner about this. Kyle, are you in the room? And I'm going to quote Mr. Rickner, to Kyle Rickner, Dr. Rickner. He said, we're getting bigger. We're getting a little bit more on the radar. He said, what do you think the chances of somebody in this movement getting singled out and made a poster child by a regulator or a competitor, sicking the cartel and their well-financed connections on us? I said, pretty good. And that's something I think that is kind of, we've all kind of had some, free market euphoria, that we've had some gains and some wins and everything else. But I do think we're starting to move into somewhat of a territory where we are going to start to have to figure out how we make sure that we are clean as far as the way that we do some of the disruption that we do. We want to make sure that, anything that we do or advise or build, keeps the employers out of harm's way. And I think those are just important things. And so we're going to start featuring in the coming years a little bit more of a compliance track as well. And I know that's certainly not as sexy as saving healthcare, but without it, we could actually imperil the movement. So anyway, just want to give a little bit of an explanation, especially to some of the docs in the room, as why we have a couple of attorneys up here. They are huge partners of the movement, and we won't be able to succeed long-term without them. So thank y'all, everybody.